Hi folks, it's Shane here at Isle of Wight Bushcraft. This time we're on a 6-day trip out into the gorgeous Brecon Beacons, so stay tuned. To begin with, I took the drive up from the Isle of Wight on into Surrey, where I met up with the rest of my hiking buddies. It was then that we took the long drive into South Wales and then on through to the beautiful Brecon Beacons. Once we had arrived, we were then greeted by the beauty of the Welsh countryside. And just occasionally we would pull in and take in these breathtaking panoramic views. Then it was onward toward our first stop near to the lake at Talibond, where we would spend our first night and make final preparations for our first day's hiking. Here was going to be our base for our hiking trip into the beacons, from where we would set out and then later return. So we've arrived on this youth hostel site. This is our first night. It's been a bit of a drive, so we're here on our inaugural night just as a bit of a rest, and we're going to have a nice cooked breakfast in the morning and then head up the mountain here in the morning and make our way probably about 5 or 6 miles tomorrow. We'll see how it goes, but anyway, we're ready for our first night. And so, with my tent pitched, time to introduce to you the rest of my hiking buddies. So this is Eric, just pictured his tent.
Hi folks.
Well, this is Tim as well, just getting his kit ready for the night.
Ultralight tent pegs, but they don't always work.
This is Derek with his gear, just getting his stuff ready. He's the snorer of the group,
Yes,
so he's a little bit further away.
Yes, much further away. Snoring, and I have absolutely no shame. At least I get a good night's sleep. I'll tell you what's really good about that is that if you snore, you clear a whole area. You've got a whole area to yourself. Brilliant. I recommend it. Practicing it. Snore.
And after a good night's sleep and a hearty breakfast, we readied our packs and made our way up into the foothills. Hi folks, so we're just setting off from Talibond Reservoir, the youth hostel there, and we're just setting. We've done about 3.5 miles so far, and we're just making our way around this reservoir and up into the beacons, just around the bend now. We've got about another 2.5 miles to go, and then we're going to pitch camp for the night. But what fantastic views! Absolutely beautiful. So we're going to crack on. just walking up to our first peak of our trip. This is the first day out. What's the name of the peak, Tim? There?
Can't remember, sorry.
Can't remember.
Brecon Beacons.
One of the Brecon Beacons. It's, but we'll just scan round and you can see the views that we've got there, and they are absolutely stunning views. And the weather's with us, it's hot, but it is fantastic. Fantastic views, aren't they?
We can hear the
Derek?
waterfall down there.
Yeah, the waterfall just down there.
Yeah. Actually, if you look at the waterfall, if you look at the people, you know the size of the waterfall, and if you take the waterfall and compare it to this hill here, you get an idea of the scale.
Yeah. Immense, the scale is immense. Yeah. It's absolutely awe-inspiring. That's not a word that I use often, awesome, because it's an oft overused word, and often applied to things that are quite mediocre, actually. But I always kind of think, well, if you're going to use the word awesome for everything, what word do you then use for things that truly are awesome? And this is spectacular.
I did use a word earlier for it, I forgot the name of it.
Majestic.
Majestic,
Yeah.
that's the one. Majestic.
Yeah, it's fantastic. We feel so privileged to be here at this moment. You can kind of get a flavour of it by watching this video, I'm sure, but to actually be here now, real life, real time, is words can't describe it. It's absolutely stunning.
All the
Absolutely
senses
stunning.
have to be used.
After walking for a couple of hours up this steady incline, it was time to rest and take in some much needed water and energy food.
Doritos? Would you like to take?
Thank you.
As we continued on up along this track, it wasn't long before we happened upon this beautiful waterfall. And feeling hot from our morning's hike, we decided to take the opportunity to freshen ourselves up in these cool, invigorating waters. But it was soon time to continue on and prepare ourselves for the steep ascent that would lead us to our first peak and our second night's Wildcamp.
So this is our first day proper, and our second night out. We're right on top of the beacons here, and the view is just spectacular. The weather has been really kind to us today. We've done about 7 miles today, which doesn't sound much, but my pack is weighing about 56 pounds. It's fairly heavy. I'm one of those people that takes everything. But yeah, and I would say probably 1.5 miles of that has been up, you know. So yeah, we're beat, but wow, worth it. Beautiful views. Got water down there as well, so I'll give you a show round. I do like a luxury bathroom, but I prefer this. This is where we're going to be having a wash tonight, and it's probably one of the most beautiful places I've ever had the privilege to bathe in. It's so peaceful. Anyway, you'll have to excuse me folks, but it's time to get clean.
As the sun began to lower in the evening, the sky and the surrounding peaks were bathed in these beautiful colours. So on top of this beacon, I'm not sure which one it is, we can't remember the name, and it's very difficult to pronounce, but it's beautiful. It's a beautiful sunrise this morning, and the sun's shining in now. It's absolutely fantastic. And went to bed I went to sleep about 9:30 last night. I didn't wake up till 5:30, so solid 8 hours, which is great. Let me get up and get some breakfast now. And what a delight it was to enjoy a breakfast up on these peaks in the glory of the morning sunshine on what seemed to be the top of the world. But alas, it was time to break camp and then make our way on toward Pen y Fan, remembering to stop and pause for just a few moments along the way so that we could take in some of the dramatic views that lay before us.
Having a little break. We're just taking advantage of this water. We're filtering, or Tim is, and the other stuff a bit higher up was a bit brown. But we're making our way along the trail up to Pen y Fan, which is a bit of a climb there, probably about another 2 miles to go, I'd say. Beautiful trail, absolutely beautiful.
And here, in the shadow of Penavan, lay this idyllic mountain tarn, where we would make our next stop.
We just found this spot here to Wildcamp for the night. As you can see, that's Penavan up there, which is where we've just come from. And we're going to make camp by this little lake tonight. So we'll make camp. So Derek's and Tim have now arrived, and we're just making camp in this beautiful place, and then it's time for something to eat. But this is absolutely breathtaking.
In the modern and frenetic world that we find ourselves in today, peace and tranquility are rare creatures to see indeed. But here, in this idyllic spot, we really did catch just a glimpse of them. Not a bad night's sleep again. And I'll just unzip the front of the tent and just show you the view that we've got. It's beautiful. Having eaten a light breakfast and enjoyed a cup of morning coffee, we packed our things, ready to leave again. But it was with heavy heart and reluctance that we left this special place. After around 5 miles of hiking in the hot summer sun, we made our way to another hostel where we could get showered and fed and spend the night ready for our second leg of our hike. But early the next morning we packed our things and got out as quickly as we could.
we've just packed up. I would say this is probably the low point of our day.
Beautiful, Shane. Look at it, mate.
Lovely view, but we're in this hostel site because we've been up on the hills and the mountains for a few days, 3 days, and we needed to replenish stores and just have a shower and so forth. The meal last night was really memorable. Really memorable, but for all the wrong reasons. But anyway, so I think we're making our way into Brecon now, and then over toward the over the hills toward the showcase. So we thought we'd just live a little for an hour, and we're having a coffee in this lovely coffee shop in Brecon actually. It's not very wild, we know, but we needed a little break. After the meal last night, we needed something a bit more edible.
So after enjoying a lovely coffee and looking around this lovely little town of Brecon, on a tip-off we made our way out towards Cray and the reservoir there, where we were given permission by the landowner to camp in this beautiful countryside where we found this lovely spot.
So we're just making camp on this little spot here. We've been given permission by the farmer, which is nice. We think we're on the right part of the land, and have also bought a license to fish this water, and I've got a rod with me, so I'm hoping we might be able to get a few trout. We're allowed 3, so that'd be nice if we can have some trout for tea. But we're in a lovely spot where we're wilding again, away from the hostel, which was great, and all being well, it'd be a lovely night. It's a lovely spot here with a beautiful view, and it's good to be wilding again.
The shot was made for that actually.
And poor old Eric has been sent to Coventry. It's just the other side of us, but look at the view he's got of that water. Beautiful. He's just tucked in under this hawthorn here. So I'm all tackled up ready, and shouldn't really, but the fisherman guy said it won't hurt for today. I'm going to kind of free line a worm out there and hopefully get a few trout, which I hasten to add we have paid for. So hopefully we can have some trout for tea, because Eric is he needs trout for his energy.
And we haven't had a good dinner for many days.
So let's give it a try. Nice little wildie for tea tonight. I'm pleased about that. There we go, guys. It's not massive, but it's a nice little wildie. There are all wildies in here, and that'll be for tea for tonight. Beautiful fish. There we are. Had this one as well. He's a bit bigger, this one. So that's they're all wildies in this water, so they don't get that big, but they're tasty fish, I'm told. So that's two. One more. We're allowed one more, and then we've got our tea.
Do you like a drink?
Yes. Oh, you can have a drink if you want.
It's a very expensive drink.
Thank you. There we go. Lovely. Italian. We got fresh trout going here, folks, and it smells pretty good actually. And you can't get much fresher. It's only been out the water about an hour and a half. Turn that heat down a bit.
Get fresher than that.
Well, it gives you a sample, doesn't it?
Yeah.
This freshly caught trout really did make a welcome addition to the dehydrated meals that we were also eating that evening. And on the subject of dehydrated meals,
Hi guys. So for the nights that we've been out on the mountains, we've been eating, you know, the dehydrated food, which is a necessary evil, unfortunately. But they're not very tasty, to be honest. No, not nice at all. We picked up these today in Brecon, and the lady recommended them. It's extremeadventurefood.com. This is a chicken tikka masala, and in case you haven't tried them, recommend these. They actually taste what they say. This is quite tasty. So there you go. It's not a plug, I'm not being paid or anything, but just to maybe help some of you that have eat the muck, you know. These are lovely. So extremeadventurefood.com. Give them a try.
And so, sufficiently fed and watered, decided to take a stroll down to the shoreline of this beautiful water and enjoy the vibrant colours of the evening sky. And after enjoying this lovely evening, I returned to my tent where I enjoyed a good night's sleep. When I awoke in the morning, the weather had broken.
Well, we've just done our 5th night, and I don't know if you can hear that, but it's quite heavy rain outside. It's about 7 in the morning, so it's going to be a bit tricky today. I have to try and pack all my gear inside the tent, and then take the tent down at last with my waterproofs on, and then hike out of here. We knew it was coming, and it's here. But it's all part of the fun. Just boiling the old stove there for a cup of tea. Just had some ready back for breakfast. It's time for a cup of tea. Yeah. And then it's head out into the rain, I think. I think we're going to get wet today.
After packing our gear away in the rain, we donned our waterproofs and then made the 6-mile hike down to the Welsh show caves. After pitching our tents, we then ventured into this interesting feature. And as we ambled through these tunnels and caverns, admiring the stalactites and the stalagmites, I couldn't help but think to myself, what a great wild camping place these caves would make. What a fitting finale these caves were to our Brecon Beacon trip. But alas, it would soon be time to pack our gear and tents and then take the long drive back home. What an experience this wild camping trip had proven to be.
Well, here we are at the end of our trip, and we're just about to leave Wales. Whereabouts are we, Tim?
Danarogov National Show Caves of Wales.
So that's where we are. We've just been to see the caves, which were really quite interesting.
I didn't bother because apparently, according to Eric, they were almost a little bit boring. So I didn't bother. I just went for a bus ride instead.
Yeah. So we've had a great trip. We've been living wild for a week, whole week, and not only have we survived and endured, but we've relished it actually. Thrived in it. Yeah, it's been great, and it's taught us a lot about ourselves as well. That we can, if we needed to, we can endure and rough it quite easily. And even this quite rough weather that's now set in, but we've had a great time, and we've really enjoyed it. So all that's left to say really is bye folks, and see you in the next video. See you later.
Croeso i Gymru.